U.S. intelligence agency mind control.
I think we can.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu pushed back today against criticism of his Gaza strategy from within
to do
his
more
own
commentary.
Government. Israel's defense minister
I know.
accused Netanyahu of indecision and leading Israel down a, quote, dangerous course.
There's not... Everything is kind of just like, oh, news. You know what I mean? It's not like...
I thought we were going to do mostly global stuff.
It turns out there was a lot more US than I thought.
The public infighting comes as the Biden administration this week said Israel did not have a political plan for what's next in Gaza. Nick Schifrin has been following this, and he's here with us now. So, Nick, what happened today in Israel? It looks like the private infighting has burst into public view.
For months, the Israeli military has been pushing Benjamin Netanyahu to look beyond individual military operations and lay out a political plan for the future of Gaza. Lay out
the IDF is the one that claims to be the moral army, right?
I don't know if that's a thing they actually say. I just hear people saying it as like most moral army when they're insulting Israel.
Yeah,
I haven't looked up if that's like an actual thing.
That the military operations that he's ordered are designed to achieve. And today, Gallant, the defense minister, said that since October, he and military commanders have been pushing for a plan to have governance in Gaza led by Palestinians with international actors.
Says
that would
Israel is the most
require the
modern moral army.
Okay.
That's where it comes from.
Okay, there you go. But yeah, Gallant was like talking
and
shit.
Today, Gallant said that his proposal was never even debated and no alternative had ever been proposed.
And reminder,
indecision is in essence a decision. This leads to a dangerous course.
Gallant is a bigger fascist than
really?
Yes, this guy and Ben Gvir are the worst ones.
Which promotes the idea of Israeli military and civilian governance in Gaza. This is a negative and dangerous option for the state of Israel, strategically, militarily, and from a security standpoint. We must make tough decisions for the future of our country, favoring national priorities above all other possible considerations, even with the possibility of personal or political costs.
Those personal or political costs that he's speaking about is a direct reference to Netanyahu. There are senior U.S. officials who I speak to, Jeff, who are increasingly concerned that Netanyahu is prolonging the war in order to remain prime minister. Netanyahu, of course, denies that. And he said today that his plan was to install Gazan families unaffiliated with either Hamas or the Palestinian Authority, but that plan had been blocked by Hamas.
Therefore, all the talk about the day after, while Hamas remains intact, will remain mere words devoid of content. Contrary to what is being claimed, for months we have been engaged in various efforts to resolve this complex problem. In any case, there's no alternative to military victory.
Hey, moral army. Maybe flattening the entire Gaza Strip wasn't the greatest choice. Maybe you should have, it's an army. People sign up. They kind of know that they could die, accepting losses instead of committing genocide, which I really fucking hope you get thrown in jail for. I really fucking do.
Yeah,
I really hope that happens.
Only half of the people killed on that day were military. Like, it's really the kibbutz that is like the big issue of what happened that day. If they were just military targets, nobody would give a shit, right?
No.
But that's the whole point, is that to trigger the overreaction, they had to target.
Yes. Yeah. So it's like, you just sort of walked into their plan. You overreacted exactly how they knew you would. It's just they're just fucking with you, and you walked right into it. It's just. Yeah, the genocide conviction isn't going to bring back the lives that this guy fucking extinguished from the earth, but watching him rot in prison would be pretty great.
The attempt to bypass it with this or that claim is simply detached from reality. There's one alternative to victory: defeat, military, diplomatic, and national defeat.
Detached from reality. He's speaking about his own defense minister's comments there. It's important to note that Netanyahu is worried about his coalition staying intact, members of which have called for the reoccupation of Gaza and a much more punishing military operation in Gaza. One of them today, National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir, tweeted this. He said that Gallant failed on October the 7th. He continues to fail now and must be replaced.
So how does the Biden administration view all of this?
The Biden administration has been pushing Netanyahu to accept the Palestinian Authority to run Gaza after the war.
Palestinian
and
Authority
that would unlock some of the larger proposals that the Biden team has been pursuing, especially unlocking Arab participation in the.
Why doesn't the US just push for other people in the region to be more involved instead of the US always being involved? Why the fuck is the US involved? Oh, it's Israel. Who gives a shit? Fuck Israel. Get the fuck out of there. You wanted to leave? Leave. Why are you still pussyfooting around with your fucking toes in the water? Fucking dickheads. Get the fuck out. You wanted out of the Middle East? Get out. Like, fucking doesn't make any sense. It does make sense. It makes total sense. But, like, logically, it doesn't make sense.
The day after plan. And this week, Jake Sullivan made another criticism public. He said that Netanyahu needed to embrace some kind of political strategy, those goals that he wanted to achieve in order to win this war. And U.S. officials tell me that call has not been heeded.
Meantime, Nick, Israeli forces are expanding their operation in Rafah. Is this the same operation that the Biden administration has been advising Israel against?
U.S. officials tell me that the operation so far has been targeted at the border in order to prevent Hamas from smuggling both weapons and people in. And U.S. officials say
I bet you it's also stopping aid from getting in as well, which was one of the things that you're told to stop doing to not be charged for genocide, right?
The people in the kibbutz don't actually. I think they are people who don't get drafted. The commies in the kibbutz. Now, that said, most armies are like this. We aren't going to label everyone in Turkey as being complacent in the state's genocide against the Kurds because of mandatory service. You know, like, it's just not fair to do to people. And that framing of everyone can be a military target is just an ignorant way of looking at it, because that's not how Hamas looks at it. Like, it's just like a commie Western cope way of looking at the situation, like they're revolutionaries. Hamas doesn't claim to be revolutionaries. Like, and then, like, backing the Houthis. The Houthis are literally one of the main people they're fighting against is a communist party. And that communist party is in a coalition with the Muslim Brotherhood faction. Literally, they're fighting against Hamas and socialists in Yemen. And, like, attaching themselves to the conflict for clout, knowing that people would be dumb enough to buy it. It just, like, shows how ignorant people are of the situation. Hamas has done a classic goal that is shown to be effective by people like bin Laden. And that was the point. The point was to be brutality and to find old ladies and kill them and things. Additionally, like, a lot of, maybe even a majority of Israelis want to get rid of the mandatory service. And one of the big reasons that they want to get rid of it is because there's systemic rape that goes on in their armed forces, and they don't have control over it.
Have been doing that, as well as in the eastern part of Rafah. Netanyahu said today that 500,000 people from Rafah had fled, and that, quote, the humanitarian catastrophe that's been spoken of has not been realized.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if the kibbutz or not, because I know the kibbutz have their own, like, defense stuff. Like, they, like, run through a committee of defense. And, like, they're not, like, they don't, like, the IDF wouldn't respond to their, I mean, I guess they would eventually if it was, like, a real situation, but they're trained to, like, fight if these attacks happen. And some of them did. A lot of people ended up dying, but some kibbutz were able to, like, identify that this attack was happening and get prepared and get their rifles and stuff, and like, wiped out a whole bunch of.
Which is exactly how communes should be. They should be mutual self-defense forces as well.
Yeah, well, it's not. It's like there's, like, there's like a security. It's like the Asaish in Kurdistan.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's just it's a very interesting idea as well. But yeah, it's like that that sort of framing everyone as a potential military target as well is like kind of what Israel's doing. So
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Be better. You know, be specific.
And like and even then, if you say that it's the same, that even isn't the same, because it's more justified to say it about Israel than anyone in Gaza.
To Adam Hamawi, one of 10 American doctors who's stuck in
I
a
wasn't
hospital
sure
in southern Rafah. He's been stuck there since Israeli forces seized the border and closed the border. He served in Iraq, and he helped save the life of Senator Tammy Duckworth in 2004 when she was injured.
You know what I was thinking? I was mistaken. What I was actually thinking is the kibbutz are actually some of the like main supporters of the IDF. Actually, a lot of them. They're like.
And Hamawi said today that the conditions in his hospital were both dire and tragic.
The hardest thing for me is honestly the little children.
Isn't the Haredi thing? Isn't that the group that was just like sanctioned by the US? Wasn't that like a group of them, like a specific special forces group of only like super Hasidic Jews? Wasn't that the group?
I don't know. They sanctioned settlers specifically. That's all I know.
I'm gonna look that up. U.S. sanctioned Israeli military unit. I'm pretty sure we covered it. It was over the West Bank. Yeah, we did cover this.
Yeah, I know they sanctioned them.
Biden administration and military battalions, 3 of them. This website is formatted awfully, so I can't.
Squares and rectangles.
I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, they sanctioned something. I'm pretty sure it might have been
coming in with life-changing injuries. It's the boy that I took care of today that lost an arm, 2 legs, and part of his remaining hand. I took care of both U.S. military, Iraqi military. I took care of contractors. I took care of civilians that were injured.
This guy's trapped there now too.
But
oh, really?
The degree and the level of casualties that are innocent civilians. Most of my patients have been young children, women, and elderly people that are in their 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
Israel blames Hamas for all of those civilian casualties, Jeff, and
Duckworth it's so wild. Like what? Who does Israel think they are? Israel? You know, like it's just so wild. They float this shit. Who killed all these women and children with our guns and our bullets? It was Hamas.
Yeah.
International United Nations staff member was killed in Gaza, in Rafah to be exact. Rafah, of course, is a border town in Gaza that is very much at play right now, considering the fact that Israel wants to carry out a ground invasion, and the United States has temporarily halted weapons shipments to Israel over its disagreement with Israel doing a ground invasion there. Now, the UN staff member and others were traveling in a car that was marked with the United Nations flag. Just like the humanitarian aid workers for the World Central Kitchen were in a convoy of, trucks that were clearly marked with World Central Kitchen. And of course, they were hit with 3 back-to-back drone strikes, killing 7 people. Now, this incident that happened today marks the first death of an international UN staff worker since the beginning of the war in Gaza. Now, the story just broke, and I'm sure more details will develop in coming days. But here's what we know for now, based on what we're hearing from Farhan Haq, who is the deputy spokesman for the United Nations Secretary General. He told the Washington Post that the following. So Haq confirmed that the staff member was the first international UN casualty since the beginning of the war on October 7th. The name and nationality of the staff member have not been released. The United Nations did not say who they believed was responsible for the attack. And I think that is the responsible thing to do. This just happened, and so there should be at least a little bit of an investigation before they place blame. We can speculate though. Now, Hawk also told the Washington Post that we informed the Israeli side of the movement of our convoys. They are all clearly marked UN vehicles. I'm not surprised by that. That is what we've heard from humanitarian aid workers that have been targeted by Israeli Defense Forces. And so here you have a UN truck that was clearly marked. The Post reports that the vehicle had UN lettering on the truck and front doors. You're looking at the truck with the bullet holes as we speak. And there's also a UN flag posted above the gas hub. Now, another UN staffer was also injured in the attack. They're currently receiving medical treatment. According to the Washington Post, video footage captured in front of the emergency department of the European hospital, where the injured UN worker is reportedly receiving medical treatment, showed the aftermath of Monday's attack. Bullet holes, as you all saw from the video, are visible in the rear windows of the vehicle. Now, Hawk has called for a full investigation into the incident, and I think that full investigation absolutely needs to happen. Again, I wanna make sure you know, we don't know for sure who did this attack. But let's hear from the IDF. They've responded to questions, and they say that an initial inquiry indicates that the vehicle was hit in an area declared an active combat zone. Said a spokesperson for the Israeli Defense Forces, who added that the IDF had not been made aware of the route of the vehicle. The spokesperson said the incident is under review. Now, this is very similar to what we've heard from the IDF in other incidents where innocent people have been killed, including humanitarian aid workers and journalists. And so you should take what they're claiming here with a grain of salt. But I do think the words combat zone should spark some memories of stories we've done recently, because remember, Haaretz, an Israeli publication, had reported some weeks ago that the IDF kills any living thing that enters an active combat zone. But they don't tell anyone where the active combat zones are. And so innocent civilians might enter a combat zone unwittingly and they get killed immediately. And so hearing the IDF refer to this area as an active combat zone concerns me. So Waz, I'm curious what you think about this story. Obviously, it's still developing and we don't know for sure who carried out this attack. But recent history might give us some reason to believe that it could be the IDF.
Pausing here to deliver some honest truth as we do in our news coverage as well. TRT is facing challenges, guys, as the entire industry is. You know who could make the difference? You. If you hit the join button below, it's gonna make all the difference and keep us in business. We appreciate you, thank you.
However you feel about the war, whether you think it's justified, if you're like, pro-Israeli regime, and you think how they're prosecuting the war is justified or not, whatever side of that you're on, I don't think there's any reading of how they've prosecuted this war as them being precise or discerning or like anything but brutal and indiscriminate. Like the idea that you could kill aid workers, you're killing UN workers, it just shows that like the way that you're going about prosecuting this thing just doesn't take anything that we would call humanity and being humane.
That was like a shocking thing
into consideration. It just doesn't feel that way. And I think that's what people are bumping up against when it's like, yo, why is our government basically giving them a blank check to prosecute this war with our tax dollars and helping them commit what a lot of people think, a lot of smarter people than me think are war crimes. And this incident just falls right in line with that train of thought for me. It just feels like what they're doing over there is just completely brutal. And like they're taking no prisoners. And it's awful. And I don't know how you see a war like this get carried out against the people and not think it's pretty messed up. Like, like you don't even have to have a politics about it. It's like the way they're doing it seems just so awful.
Too.
I mean, I just
put aside like, hey, we need more commentary. You went to get an ice cream. That's why.
Bookman.
Look, man.
I had other shit to do. I was gonna put food on. There was an ice cream. I got ice cream instead of food because you wanted me back. So
look, man.
This is my lunch.
Look, man.
So fuck off.
Commentary.
Where anyone falls on whether they consider themselves Zionists, whether they support the formation of Israel or not, that actually doesn't really matter when you're analyzing what's happening on the ground in Gaza right now. Even the most ardent Israel supporter.
Everyone
can they really say that the way the IDF?
What are you doing?
Fine. I'll turn the camera on. I'll turn the microphone off.
Has carried out this war is just? Can they really, with a straight face, allege that this is the most moral military that is going to extreme lengths to protect civilian lives?
Moral military.
I mean, over 100 journalists dead, killed in Gaza.
Is that
most of
was that an oxymoron?
Those journalists have bad kill to death ratios.
Them Al Jazeera journalists. And at the same time, you know, Israel has just banned Al Jazeera from operating overall in Israel. Banned.
That is true.
And so you want me to believe that over 100 journalists who were killed in Gaza were killed accidentally? Really? Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, could it be that maybe dropping 2,000-pound bombs in a densely populated area isn't the best way to carry out this war? So you prevent the loss of civilian lives. No.
I'm
not a military expert, but I would venture to say that the 2000.
You're not a military expert.
Haven't you listened? They need to stop Hamas.
I know more than you.
What is that?
What?
1,000-pound bunker buster bombs were not appropriate for Gaza. But it was an easy solution if you want to minimize the number of
2,000-pound bombs,
you know, soldiers dying on the IDF side.
They need to be using.
And maximize damage in Gaza. Make it uninhabitable, right? Just level residential areas, level refugee camps, level the hospitals, level the, you know.
I'm not sure if it's something Israel actually said, because the only time I hear it is from them.
On and on, the hospitals, the mosques, the churches. There was a Greek Orthodox church that was bombed.
Oh my God,
it just goes on and on and on. And so when you see Americans start to speak up, it's not necessarily because they're against Israel. It's because they don't feel comfortable seeing their hard-earned tax money fund a war that they might have felt would be honestly, just in the beginning.
It's not that
their arms sales.
Like, I don't really care about Hamas killing soldiers, and I don't really care about the Israelis killing Hamas. The thing is, they're not killing Hamas.
No, exactly. They're killing civilians.
But now feel is deeply unjust given how careless the IDF has been with civilian lives, with the lives of humanitarian aid workers, with the lives of journalists, with the lives of, and now we're hearing about UN workers getting killed. It's insanity. So for me, like the debate about Zionism or no Zionism, that's kind of in the periphery. The moment that we're experiencing right now in Gaza and the way the war is being carried out in Gaza, I want to ask the people who are ardent supporters of Israel, are you okay with this? And do you really genuinely think this is just? And if they do, man, they've got those blinders on, because I would venture to say that if
bro, that's got to be
Russia
like
was doing the exact same thing
I've ever heard
and killing as many civilians in a short period of time like the IDF has, oh, they'd speak up. And they'd have deep concerns about it.
God.
But for some reason, there's a double standard that I don't really understand.
Better be based on facts. I swear to fucking God, bro.
If it's not, oh man, they better get genocide charges if it's just all emotional
It's not. It's bigger than that, though. It's undermining everything for Israel and the Netanyahu government. For political points, so you get elected in November to undermine everything.
Insane.
But like, it should be impartial. It should be done by an agency outside of the government. It has to be. It's got to be. Like, and if it's not, it's not good.
Mm-hmm.
It's potentially worse.
Yeah.
And they can't really explain it, so they just shout you down and accuse you of being an anti-Semite. Like, it's just ridiculous.
And by the way, Israel's a sovereign country, pretty wealthy country.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to prosecute a war against their neighbors in a far off land, that's their prerogative. I don't think if we went to war with Mexico tomorrow, there's not a country on earth that could tell us, oh, you need to stop. You can't do that. Like, it kind of just be what we were doing, right? Like, all right, cool. Carry out your war, but why should American people be paying for a foreign war? It doesn't make any sense. Like, look,
bad take. Genocide is fine, but why do we care?
As long as we don't pay for it.
Yeah, genocide's fine as long as our bombs aren't going to it.
Why should we care about Ukraine?
Yeah, literally that.
I think the Israeli regime is doing generally what their population wants. Their people are with them on this. Mm-hmm. So I think that's just something that people on the left don't like to readily admit. But it's like, bro,
I think a majority of the people just mainly want the hostages back. I think that's priority one, and it's shown that that's not what Israel is doing, nor their prerogative.
Nope, that's what they always use and what they say they're doing, but it's never the actions that they take or what.
Yeah, well, it's Hamas's fault because they hid the.
They're in hospitals and shit, right?
Yeah. They put AKs in the MRI machine.
No, that's when I was like a little zoned out. That was me arguing with my friend because he literally said that. He's like, Hamas is in schools and hospitals. I'm like, bro, I'm just like,
to the wants.
I listed off the convention articles which they're breaching, right? And I basically was just saying, I was like, primarily Article 3E, because the thing in the ICJ specifically said they needed to rectify the aid thing, lest they be committing genocide. They're not preventing it, which is what the charges were. So Gaza, and they were also told exactly how to do it. Allow aid into Gaza. Instead, they created famine in northern Gaza, and adding yet another condition of genocide on the people of Gaza who are in a fenced-off, policed area whose safety and responsibility is Israel's at the end of the day, right? They are not a state. They are in Israel. They are under the care of Israel, and Israel is not providing the care that they require. It is, that is I think, the argument to make. It's like police, right? It's like people dying in police custody. It's the cops' fault because the cops did not protect them. That's why Israel is getting hit with genocide charges. That's what's happening, and I think that's what people need to understand. Is that it's not so much they're committing it. Yes, they are. Obviously, they are. But the charge is not preventing it. They're charging the state with not preventing the crime of genocide.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was trying to explain to my friend here. And I'm like, you think, I said, you think an army like Israel, as technologically advanced as the IDF, couldn't run operations on the ground purely to rescue hostages? Of course they could, right?
Delta could be there.
You said
Delta would assist them if they wanted to.
Yeah, exactly, right? And it says, instead, they flatten the entire strip and slaughter civilians and commit genocide. This is unacceptable in an army that claims to be the moral army. That's why it's genocide. That's why it's being called genocide, because neither the state nor the army is making active moves to prevent such things. That's the charge, right? Because he's like, why is it genocide? And I was like, it took me a little bit, and I kind of had to tune everything out to kind of think of a proper response to give to him. So we'll see how that turns out. But that's like, I think that is probably my best iteration of an argument for why it's genocide. What do you think?
I mean, they've called for the destruction many times and stuff.
No, I know, and obviously the intent is there as well because we've seen the intent. And we continue to see it over and over and over and over again. So
they're people, and you might say, hey, those people are like really bloodthirsty
crime to prove. And that's why I prefer to look at the metrics on Genocide Watch and frame genocides through their descriptions of genocide than the legal framework of genocide. Because when you look at it from a Genocide Watch level, you're looking at it as at a policy level and how you can withdraw from that situation and tone down.
Okay, interesting.
The scale of genocide. That's
so not so much. It's because this is more of like because obviously the legal and the way law.
Yeah, well, Genocide Watch is just like
a punishment of
the whole point of Genocide Watch is to prevent genocide as well.
Yes.
So
and that's the one thing I think the convention doesn't do is prevent it. It punishes it, sure, but now you've got to also prove it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But where's the prevention? Where's the monitoring? I don't think there's active enough Genocide Watch stuff going on, because I'm pretty sure that Genocide Watch is just like a single person, right?
Oh, they have more people now. They grew. He expanded. It was it was originally written by. It was a book written by one guy who then made a website for the book, and it's grown from there. So they have, and they source analysts and articles. It's just really all it is like you go there and you get a ground reading of genocides that are taking place, and it will give you sources. And they now do reports for everything. They do write-ups for everything. So yeah, they've expanded a lot.
Cool. Definitely something we should support.
Right now, in a very vulnerable moment for them, post October 7th. Sure, you can make that argument, but the bottom line is this war is popular in Israel. And so, to me, it's just like, all right, these folks should be able to carry out their popular war.
I was like, I must have missed this because I was like, I lost it. Hold on, where is it? I was like, where's Fudge? I haven't seen Fudge for a little bit.
I even said it out loud. Maybe if you're paying attention.
Look, I missed it. I said I missed it.
Go ahead.
It's like, well,
but again, I don't understand why our country should be footing the bill, why our country should be doing so much of the heavy lifting.
I think I got distracted by the dog comment.
Biden's
dog.
It just makes no sense to me.
It was right above that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I think a lot of Americans feel the way that you're feeling right now. And by the way, Israel in 2022 had an economic surplus. Did you know that? I didn't know that until this weekend.
I did not know that.
2022. Their government put out a report, a statement. They're like,
that's yeah. And guess who are the idiots that get to pay them when they're in an economic surplus? You guys. Good work.
We're killing it.
We're preventing a second Holocaust.
And it's like we've had a.
Are you aware of a CIA psychological profile about you, sir? Would you be interested in hearing what the CIA had to say? This secret study portrays as a brilliant but dangerous megalomaniac who is likely to pursue his own aims in disregard of U.S. interests. He's an uncertain ally. Shall I go on, or would you prefer that I stop, sir?